How's it going, everybody?
You know who it is.
My name is Sunwoo, and in this part of the OPXY tutorial series, we are going to take a look at one of my favorite features, and that is the tape track. The tape track is one of the 8 auxiliary tracks that can be accessed from this button, and then by selecting number 6, which has this little tape icon here. What the tape track does in short is it receives audio material from other instrument tracks and then allows you to chop them up in interesting ways and pitch them up and pitch them down and just have some fun with resampled material. And that means by itself the tape track won't produce any sounds. If I play the keys, nothing is happening, and that is because there is no audio material in this tape buffer yet. So in order to get sound into the tape buffer, we got to make sure that some of our instrument tracks are sending into the tape. We can do that directly from the tape instruments page M2, which shows us exactly which of our 8 instrument tracks are sending into the tape buffer. By default, you can see all of our 8 tracks are sending all of their level into the tape buffer. We can change this by turning these knobs here and decide to not send anything, for example, from track 1 into the tape buffer. And if we click, we get to the other 4 tracks. But for now, let's turn them all up and send all of our tracks into the tape buffer. And this page is just one way of checking what's sending into your tape track, but I think this gives you a great overview because it shows all of the tracks at once. However, you can also go to a single instrument track, so instrument track 1, for example, and on the M3 page, press Shift, and it will show you the tape send as well. You can see tape send is set to 99. We can also change that here. But for now, again, let's keep it up. So let's actually use this track in order to send audio into the tape track. I created a super simple sequence that is just doing this.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
So I said a number counting up to 16 on each of the 16 steps here. Let's go to the tape track and see what happens if we press play.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 1, 2.
You see that the buffer has filled itself with the audio that it received from the instrument track. Now what happens if we play some of these keys?
1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, 3, 3, 4, 4, 4, 5, 5, 5, 6, 6, 7.
You see that we can actually count up the numbers using these keys now. And that is because the tape buffer will automatically take the last 16 steps of your sequence that have played. So it records only 16 steps of the sequence and slices those into equal parts. From here to here, it will slice it into 16 parts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and so on. Here is 16.
6, 6, 6, 6, 6, 6.
15 here.
15, 15.
And then over here, again, it starts from 1 and counts up to 8.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
So again, you've got 16 steps worth of audio neatly sliced up into equal parts across the keyboard here. And for now, each of these keys plays the length of one step.
6, 6, 6, 6.
So it gives me one number because each of my steps of the sequence contained a single number.
6, 6, 6, 6, 6.
Now we get to what the knobs up here are doing. So this knob here changes the length of the buffer that is looping.
6, 6, 6.
Right now,
6.
It's set to 1, which means it only plays a single step long of that slice. But if I increase it to 2, you will hear
6, 7, 6, 7, 6, 7, 6, 7, 6.
It plays a longer part. It still starts from the same part that I started previously.
6 7 6 7 6 7 6 7.
But it gives me a longer duration. And again, I could turn this to 4, so now it will give me 4 numbers in a row.
6 7 8 9 6 7 8 9.
Wonderful. As easy as that. And it goes up to 16, so it will give me the complete loop.
6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13.
You can imagine what the rest is. Let's turn it back to 1.
6 6 6 6 6.
This button over here will change the pitch of the tape playback
6 6 6
in
6
octaves.
6 6 6 6.
So times 1 is the original octave, times 2 is an octave higher, and then each time another octave higher, which means that if you play audio back and just change the tempo with this, you will still be in the same key as your original audio material, because if you pitch shift something by an octave or multiple octaves, you are still in the same key. Let's leave it on times 2 for now and use the tape track while our sequence is actually playing.
1 2 3 4 5 6 7 9 10 11 12 14 16 1 3 4 5 6 8 9.
And you probably noticed that each time I'm playing a key on the tape track, the original audio cuts out. So the instrument track that is sending into the tape track is muted. And this brings us to this knob over here, which will change the mix value. If we turn the mix value up to 99, that now allows us to play the tape track without cutting out the other tracks that are sending into it. Again, I play the sequence.
1 2 3 4
and now
5 6
the
7
tape track
8
on
9
top.
10 11 12 13 14 16 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 16 1 2 3 4 5 6.
So this allows us to layer the tape track on top of the original audio, which I think is the best way of using it, or I find myself using it this way more often. And of course, we can turn the mix to something in between.
1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 16 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12.
So this kind of allows us to duck the original audio a little bit while the tape is playing, but not completely cut it out. And in order to explain this control here, let's send something else into the tape track. So now I'm sending track 5 into the tape track, and I'm just holding a single note across all of the steps. And you can see it's getting recorded into the tape buffer. And now I'm going to turn this to the same octave, and I play this. And now we're going to turn this knob up. And this is a fine adjustment of the speed of the tape or the pitch. So this allows us to go finer than just jumping in octaves, but change the pitch in a more intricate way. And right now I stopped at 150% because that's a nice musical interval. This allows us to pitch the tape up by a perfect fifth, and that sounds very harmonious. But of course, you can do anything in between, and you can go up to a whole octave. Or even down by 1 octave. So now we're an octave below the original audio material. this is an interesting parameter to play around with. And you heard that as I am turning it, we get this grainy sound. So there's a little bit of sample rate reduction going on in some way. Pretty nice. This can get interesting when we start to maybe modulate the parameter ever so slightly. So let's just hold a tape track slice across all the steps. So it's playing automatically. We turn this to 100, and then I'm gonna go to the LFO and modulate this a little bit. So I'm going to choose the synth parameter 2, which is this one. So I will modulate this parameter up here. And if I do that slightly, you hear this little bit of movement in there. Of course, you can modulate all the other parameters as well, like the mix parameter and so on. But yeah, that's just one idea of what to do. But let's send a sequence into the tape track that is a little more interesting and musical. So I've got this little synth sequence. Speed it up a little. Now we go to the tape track and let's just randomly lock a few slices in some places. So we've got a few tape slices now, and let's hear it. Let's pitch it up by an octave. We can also go ahead and parameter lock some of these. Let's put this one a fifth up, and maybe this one too. And you can hear how this gives another layer to our existing melody and creates somewhat of a counter melody. Another tool that we have available on the tape track now is the filter. And this allows you to filter your signal, which means that we can a little bit differentiate this sound from the original melody and make it clash a little less. Let's take some low frequencies away. And we can also take high frequencies away. So now the tape track is a little less abrasive. And something else we can also do is we can send the tape track to the effects. On the M3 page, when we press Shift, we got the effect sends ready, so let's send it to the delay. Or to the reverb. As you heard, the tape track is great at taking your existing melodies and creating new layers and melodies from them, but at the same time you can also use this to glitch out your drums, for example. And I also really love using the tape track on live audio input. So right now on my input track, I've got the microphone selected and I'm sending that into the tape. And now I'm going to hum a drone note into the microphone and prepare a few steps that will add glitches to my original voice. And of course, these are just a few ideas of what you can do with the tape track. I think it's a very powerful tool, it's easy to use and a lot of fun, so go check it out. And if you want to learn more about the OPXY, check my expanding playlist over there, or feel free to contact me for private online lessons up there. I hope to see you in the next video. Like, subscribe, all the good stuff. Have a wonderful time. Peace.